wants them to be uncomfortable. He wants their training camp to be disrupted. That is the purpose of this holdout. The only way he gets what he wants in a change of situation is if the Sixers are forced to move him. And they took a step in that direction today. And I think that what Embiid and the rest of the players said earlier this week in training camp was meant to try to keep the door open. The fact that this is closing pushes it in that direction. And we have another, pinch point coming tomorrow. Ben Simmons is due $8.2 million as part of his contract. If that is not paid, eventually it will be another distraction and another issue. If they start off on a rough start this season, 2-2 or something, it's another distraction. Every distraction makes this holdout more effective.
And then every single day, more and more questions, then they build up, and then we will see if there's going to be an outburst. To the other big story in the NBA, as the Nets are in San Diego for training camp, and the big question for the NBA favorites right now is the status of Kyrie Irving here. Mandates in New York and San Francisco prevent unvaccinated players from playing and practicing in those cities. And Kyrie missed Monday's team media day in person because of the mandate. Here's Shaq. He didn't hold back when talking about it on the Tiki and Tierney show.
I would go upstairs and say, get him up out of here.
Mm-hmm.
Get him up out of here. We go in with a 2-punch and a great shooter and some rebounders like we got. Get his ass up out of here. Because now every day I have to answer questions about him and what he's doing. Get his ass up out of here.
Wow. You think that actually happens?
I don't know. Maybe you asked me if I was on the team.
Yep.
Of course, if I played with him, I'd be in charge all the way, all day. So,
yeah.
I mean, hey, whoever owns the Brooklyn Nets, get them up out of here.
Wow, Wendy, how is the Nets front office right now dealing with this situation with Kyrie?
It always worked out well when Shaq was in charge against the guards on his team, right? That always worked out great. So the Brooklyn Nets, right now, the guy who's in control here is not Kyrie. It's not the general manager, Sean Marks. It's Kevin Durant. And just as Shaq could have made a trade, force a trade in his prime when he was at the center of a team, so can Kevin Durant. And if Kevin Durant supports Kyrie Irving and all signs point to him being that, the front office will support Kyrie Irving. The one thing that you can say about their front office right now is they were hoping to get a contract extension done with him this week, somewhere in the neighborhood of $190 million over 4 years. That has been iced. There is no way the Nets can move forward with a contract extension if they can't count on Kyrie Irving to be in their home games this year. That is the vote that the front office is making. That's the impact that's happened so far this week.
Okay, we will keep an eye.
Year 19. Not many players have what it takes to get there, but not everyone is LeBron James. LeBron hasn't finished top 3 in scoring since his last year in Cleveland, but if he does it this year, he'll tie MJ for the most such seasons all time. Let's check in with Dave McMenamin.
I'm back to 100% as far as my ankle. I feel great, heading into camp. And I look forward to tomorrow. Tomorrow is the first day of training camp, and I'm super excited. I'm super excited to get back on the floor and know the work that I've put in, with my body and my game, and I'll, translate it to the court.
Russell Westbrook has been a foe of yours. You played him in the NBA Finals. You played him in a playoff series. You played with him in All-Star games, all that sort of stuff. What does he bring to make this Lakers team better and maybe change the potential for what this team is possible?
Well, right away, he ups our pace. Right away. He's always in the top 5, as far as pace, whatever team is what he with, so, being able to get out and being able to get out on the break and be able to try to get some early buckets before the defense is set, that creates that. But also he's just a flat out playmaker. I think what a lot of people don't talk about in his game is how unbelievable of a passer he is, and everyone sees the rebounds, everyone sees the scoring and things of that nature, but his passing, his ability to make guys around him better, that does not get talked about a lot. So we all look forward to that, being his teammate.
And Rob Pelinka says maybe you're in different shape, lean muscle. I hear you've added, it's trimmed down. What's going on with LeBron James heading into year 19?
This is a guy that's very determined. A guy that's willing to do whatever it takes for his body to be in the best shape possible to go out and to dominate at a high level. That's always been my goal, put myself in a position where I'm available to my teammates, because that's most important. That's number one for me, to be available to my teammates. but it's putting in the work. I'm not afraid to get uncomfortable with anything to help me, be in the best possible shape I could be in. So look forward to it.
And last one, the body doesn't work without the mind. You've been striving to be the best for a long time now. What keeps you in that mindset? What do you do to keep the edge up when you could say, look what I've already accomplished?
I have an opportunity to continue to inspire a lot of people with my drive, my work ethic, with my commitment to who I am both on and off the floor. And I got 3 kids at home that look up to me as well, for not only the things that I do on the floor, but more importantly for what I do inside the household. So that's all part of my motivation. And I still have a burning desire inside of me to want to continue to win and host Larry O'Brien trophies at the end of the season. That is my goal. That's always been my goal, but the process I love the process more than anything, and hopefully put myself in a position where I can do that at the end of the season.
Welcome back.
Happy to be back.
You can tell the season hasn't started yet how verbose these interviews are. Like, at some point, they're going to be like, what, Dave?
This is 2 months of
yeah,
build-up.
yeah,
Let's just
exactly.
empty the bucket.
I got a lot to say. Here's a look at the Lakers' odds for the 2021-22 season. They've got a win total of 51.5, tied for the 3rd highest in the NBA with the Jazz. And they're the favorite to win the Pacific and the Western Conference and have the 2nd shortest odds to win the title. Thanks, Kevin. So the upcoming NBA season marks a return to some sense of normalcy, right? A calendar that starts in September and ends in June, a full 82-game slate, and, of course, the predictable and inevitable question of which super team will be the super team to take it all. Malika Andrews sat down with one piece of the East Beasties unit, James Harden, to discuss his first full season in Brooklyn and the potential that he'd sign up for more.
James Harden looks like he's going back to the locker room. Not a good sign for the Nets.
I had 2.5 months to recover, and I feel very, very good. Now I get an entire year, training camp included with the guys.
Okay, stay lit. New form with a facelift, and I ain't going back to basics.
I feel like last year was a lot going on. It's kind of thrown into the fire because of COVID restriction, not really able to hang out and be around teammates. You build that relationship off the court, it's going to make it a lot easier on the court.
Got a lot to go improve.
Physically, you're good, but mentally, getting past the way it ended, playing for your teammates on one leg, how do you move past that and have that push you towards your champion pursuits this season?
Just trying to get my mind, my body right. That's all I was focused on this summer, and come back even better, bigger, and stronger, and quicker. I feel better than I probably ever been felt before.
You feel better than you've ever felt before?
Yeah, just more confident, knowing that we have a legit chance to be the last team standing. You have to have that confidence.
I'm not really sure what the point is if you're going to quibble about this stuff. These are 3 stars. You pay them, you move on, you make it work.
You seem focused, and I know you mentioned to the general media that you need to just be in the right mindset to sign a contract extension. What is that right mindset?
I think the course of my career, I've never been a free agent before, so I've always just been loyal and just signing contract extension and just being there. I just want to take my time with it. It's gonna be very, very difficult to leave here, or even to leave Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving.
Yeah.
But I think this season I just want to focus on winning a championship, and everything else will work itself out.
Winning a championship, everything tends to work itself out.
Facts.
The chemistry, as soon as we can build that, as soon as we can be on the court together, it's going to be scary hours.
So if last year was scary hours, what's this year?
It's the same mindset. You just get a whole year of it. Kevin was out. I was out. Kyrie was out. A lot of changes throughout the course of the year in the lineup. Now you get a full roster and a full year of scary hours.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Okay, so James Harden will make his season debut at some point, but the real superstar in that interview, Malika Andrews, is set to host our new NBA daily show, NBA Today. It debuts October 18th, hosted by Malika. Make sure to check it out every single day. I think it's important to remember because a very vocal yet small group of players have made headlines the last couple of days for their stances on vaccinations, ranging from skeptical to evasive to downright defiant, and particularly troublesome for the players whose city mandates leave no room for discourse. All this as preseason play starts in just 4 days. Tim Kuhn has more in tonight's SportsCenter report.
As training camps open, the NBA is dealing with its own COVID debate. The league boasts a 90% vaccination rate among its players, but it is that remaining 10% that is driving nearly all the conversation.
I think everyone has their own choice to do what they feel is right for themselves and their family and things of that nature. I know that I was very skeptical about it all, but after doing my research and things of that nature, I felt like it was best suited for not only me, but for my family and for my friends.
I want to get that straight. I am not sitting up here saying vaccines are bad. I'm not sitting up here saying that this vaccine is bad. I'm not sitting up here saying that you shouldn't get it. It is a personal decision between every individual. That's it.
The consequences are most severe for teams in New York and San Francisco, where local mandates prohibit unvaccinated fans, employees, and players from entering arenas on game days. As it stands, at least 2 players, the Nets' Kyrie Irving and the Warriors' Andrew Wiggins, would be unable to play any home games if they continue to decline vaccination. The league says it can't mandate player vaccination without player association approval. And on that front, the players seem united.
We're talking about individuals' bodies. You know, we're not talking about something that's, you know, political or racism or police brutality and things of that nature. We're talking about like people's bodies and well-beings. You know, so I don't feel like for me personally that I should get involved in what other people should do for their bodies and their livelihoods.
The league has rules in place for those who are vaccinated and those who aren't vaccinated to keep everybody safe, keep everybody, you know, at bay. So I would just respect those things and go according to those rules and regulations until, you know, my decision changes, which is still possible. Like, I'm not sitting here saying that I won't get it.
The league has mandated all on-court team staff, including coaches and trainers, be vaccinated by this Thursday. The choice for players to make themselves eligible to play in New York or San Francisco isn't much farther away. The first preseason game in New York is October 5th, and San Francisco's deadline for players to receive at least 1 shot is October 13th. The NBA regular season begins October 19th. For ESPN, I'm Tim Kewen.
So in an article posted over the weekend at Rolling Stone, retired NBA superstar Kareem Abdul-Jabbar had a clear message to players saying, quote, the NBA should insist that all players and staff are vaccinated or remove them from the team. It continues, there's no room for players who are willing to risk the health and lives of their teammates, the staff, and the fans simply because they're unable to grasp the seriousness of the situation or do the necessary research. We're joined now by NBA analyst Kendrick Perkins. K-Perk, this topic has obviously dominated media days, despite the fact, as I mentioned, that 90% of the league is vaccinated. What's your reaction to Kareem's comments there of get vaccinated or get out?
You know what, El? He kept it 100, not 100. He kept it 100. And here's why, right? We all had our reasons, or we all were skeptical at some point, and I get all that. But look, we're dealing with the NBA particularly, right? Think about it. One of our brothers, Karl Anthony Towns, go back and just look at what he had to deal with. He lost his mother, God bless her soul. His daddy almost lost his life. Hell, Karl Anthony Towns himself told us about how he lost 50 pounds when he had COVID. And on top of that, right, it's not only to protect the people that's in the locker room or the organization, it's to protect your loved ones so when you go home, because you are around thousands of people weekly, right? And some of these players do have babies, they have kids, and the last thing you want that to do is come into your household and it affect your family. On top of that, I see all these quote-unquote researchers, right? As a former player, a guy that had 9 surgeries, when you have surgery, a doctor prescribe you medicine and say, here, take this for swelling every 8 hours, or take this for pain. And it goes down the list. A lot of guys have surgeries. They don't go do research on the medication. They go pick up their prescription and make sure they take it at 8 o'clock, 12 o'clock, and 4 o'clock. So right now, I just think what Kareem said was very, very accurate and on point. And that's how it should be. It shouldn't be optional. It should be mandatory.
It's interesting because that's really essentially sort of what you said. Great sentiment there is exactly what we just heard from Kareem, where he said it's very disingenuous that for some of you, you won't trust the research when it comes to this vaccine, but you would trust this research if your child was in need of medical intervention. Then you would, and he found that to be hypocritical. Kendrick Perkins joining us